Yo. Alright, I guess we're continuing with the whole parking up thing. I think living in a car, having somewhere to park up at night to rest, where you're not going to be disturbed, is probably one of the most precious things that you could happen to find, but also it's kind of like a unicorn in some ways. It doesn't really exist. So, yeah. Um, just doing the best with what you've got, which is it's kind of optimistic in a way that you have that flexibility to, if you're in a house and you've got lame neighbours, you're kind of stuck with them. But if you're in a car and you've got lame neighbours, you can just restack everything, jump in the front, start it up, and you're in a completely different place within a matter of no time. So yeah, that's a huge plus, because you have to do that. Well, you don't have to do anything really, but it's nice to be able to. So I don't know the language for this. I mean, parking up, I sort of felt like I dreamed that up myself, but I think everyone uses that, so maybe I just picked up the terminology sort of subliminally somewhere along the way. But the feeling like you need to move on, I call that being hassled out. So people just appear and start hassling you. Because why? No one knows. But anyway, I don't try to understand too deeply into these things. I tend to just observe and learn and grow and heal, I suppose, and make better choices, more wiser choices in the future. So, to give you some idea of over the course of time, the way I've done it, I know a lot of people in vans will say, yeah, just rock up real late at night and then sleep and then get up super early and leave just so no one sees you, because it's like some shocking fucking crime to be seen sleeping in a safe place, in a vehicle. Not to get off into the weeds. So I've never done that, mainly because I've got such heavy duty fatigue that I just can't get up in the morning and leave, even if I wanted to. Sometimes I'm just that exhausted. Wherever I end up parked up, I'm there for days on end, just sleeping. I'll get up to eat and then take a pee, but then I'm just straight back into bed. So, yeah, it is what it is. If you are in the back streets, it's obviously pretty common sense. Just pick a spot where you've got tall fences on either side, for your privacy, in the sense that people aren't looking out on the street from their houses to see what you're doing, and for their privacy too. So even if you've got a spark of curiosity to see what people are up to around you, you're not going to be staring in the front of someone's house, which is just weird. I wouldn't want someone doing that to me. Yeah, and I think it's important not to blame people for being curious and looking around. I think when you're in public, it kind of goes with the territory that people are going to observe their environment, and if you're in their environment, then you become part of what they're observing throughout their day. So to not take it personally, but at the same time, you learn pretty quick that all privacy is non-existent. You never have a moment to yourself to rest and recharge without prying eyes fucking staring at you and just gawking away. And that does tend to grind on you after a while, and I think it's growth fuel in some sense that the sooner you can learn to embrace that aspect of it, the sooner you learn to just own it and not be sort of hiding away in the shame, like don't look at me, but more just like feel free to jump out of the vehicle and stand up straight and assert dominance and, maybe even say hi if you're in the mood, which I'm usually not. I'm a bit of a homebody. I like to be on my own. It's a valuable thing for me, and I do appreciate it a lot. I know some people can't handle that, but they're probably more on the extroverted side of things, and they need constant attention for some reason. Maybe the middle children, if there's a whole run of kids from the same family, sort of thing. I don't know. I don't really care to look into psychology too much these days. Like, I learned about it as a teenager and enough to have a mild understanding of human behavior. So I do my best to just mind my own business and stay out of the way. If ever someone is not happy with me being around, I leave. That is my response. I just leave. If I'm not wanted, I'll get up and go and be by myself again, basically, in my own good company. I've had that a lot. I've lived in a lot of different places. I've moved around heaps. I left home at 15, so none of this is really new to me. It's just new to go for such a long time, living in a car instead of short runs of maybe a few days here and a few weeks there, or a few months here and there. It's just this time I've really made it a conscious decision to just say, you know what? You can fuck off with your $2,000 a month rent for a fucking cube to sit in and just offer zero actual benefit to it's kind of like a house is a hindrance or a liability. Definitely a liability in the sense that when you're renting, it's only ever going to cost you money, and it's never going to pay you anything back. Whereas, and again, it's off into the weeds. It's its own sort of subject. But to give some examples of being hassled out of a spot, I've had quite a few things. It tends to be once every 2 months-ish I'll get hassled out. Depending on where I am at the time. So rich areas are not better than poor areas. It's just a different kind of people. And I think probably the creepiest and least understanding people are the rich people, because they've just got no fucking clue what life is like on the ground for people that are living in the realist, closest sense to the way the world is. You can sort of float above and miss everything that's happening, but when you get down to like the poorest of the poor, and just like one of my old friends, he sleeps on the street. He'd been on the street for such a long time when I met him that he got offered a place to live and he turned it down because he just wasn't ready for it. Like he's doing it full street, no car, no nothing, and with massive drug habits to support and contend with, I suppose, at the same time, which is just, he's unwell. He's medicating for something that is his own business. It's not really for me to say what he's gone through, but he did end up getting a place and a new missus and all that good stuff eventually. But while I knew him, he was doing it rough, and I understand the reason that he would say no to living in a fucking cube is because it's unnatural for one, all the fucking straight edges everywhere. The lack of breeze or sunshine or closeness to nature, the stupid sky-high rent which just cleans you out, and then like you've got nothing left for food, let alone self-medicating and whatever that costs. So the thing about living on the street is you're basically at the cutting edge of freedom. Nothing feels as free as it does to be just out in the world, and making it all up as you go along, just as you feel like going in a certain direction. You just do it, you go, and sort of forces you into responsibility for if you've got to do a load of washing and all your underwear's dirty, you don't get to procrastinate that or rummage through some drawers to find some spare stuff stashed around the house. It's whatever you've got, that's it. So you get your ass up and you go and wash some clothes. Basic stuff, but something about that, you don't really have to kick yourself in the ass to get chores done, I suppose. You're forced to do it, and then you learn to appreciate that force because it removes the option in your head to fucking put it off or procrastinate or something like that. So I mean, there's many good benefits to living in a car or just living on the street with a sleeping bag. I see people doing that too. I was going to give some examples of being hassled out of a spot. Like I said, the rich people are creepy, and their behaviour is probably as strange to me as my behaviour is appearing to them. They're very little understanding of what is happening in this country and in many Western countries in the world at the moment. This is becoming normal. People that work, couples that work a job each full-time, discovering that they can't afford to live in a rental place anymore, and then the rents are going up all the time. The price of everything is going up. I mean, you can't even blink without it going up since the last time you saw it. So, again, not to get into the weeds, but to give some examples of things that make me uncomfortable. I did a lot of parking in the back streets in the suburbs, just like you would park your car and go into a house. I would park my car, and the car is my home, so I'd just jump in the back and rest. You get a really good sense of what goes on in an area throughout all hours of night and day, and like I've parked in a car park at a shopping centre. Some woman in an SUV's pulled up right next to me, opened her door straight into my car, and it's like boom. And then I've looked up like fucking SUV drivers, but I was sleeping, so I didn't say anything. I'm just like, yeah, fucking great. And the woman, I think, especially women, they can tell when there's someone around. It's like an instinct of they're just aware of a lot of things, as you would be. And I think she's picked up on the fact that I was in the car even though I said nothing. But she's like, pulled up, parked, opened her door, and like slammed it into my car, and then got out, and then stopped, and then got back in, started up, and moved like a couple of car parks down, and then parked, and then gone into the shops. It's like, and that's happened a few times. It's, if I am awake, I've literally said to this Asian dude in a van, like, can you please not fucking hit my car? Like, at least be careful, you know? It's just like, oh, sorry. It's like, meh. You know, so that's, if you just parked your car and you didn't live in your car, you'd have no awareness that that happens on such a regular basis, you know? So I'm a fan of the park and walk, where you just park far away from the shops and just have a little walk to the shops. You don't need to be literally parking at the fucking front door because you're too lazy to walk 10 meters to get in from the car to the shop. Anyway, I've had people come up and start putting the keys into the door of my car while they're drunk off their nut, trying to get in. And then when I've wound down the window and said, can you please, like, not fucking do that? Would that trouble you greatly to not try to fucking get into my car right now? They've gone, oh, this isn't my car, and then just like walked off down the road. And it's like, great. That is correct. This is not your car. I'm like, yeah. Are they just really drunk and dumb, or are they really drunk and like trying to fucking see what they can get away with? I don't like to think about these things too much, but needless to say, I didn't park up there anymore. I've been parked up out the front of a friend's house in his front yard. You'd think that'd be safe, right? 11 at night, I've got kids walking up the driveway of every single fucking house in the street, lifting handles, trying to get in, and they lifted the handle on my car, and I fucking jumped out after they'd left, and I'm like looking, and I can see him next door, fucking basically getting into the car next door and riding through it. And so I fucking gathered myself together and put clothes on and whatever, and it's just, yeah, when the neighbour come out after they'd left and gone up the street, and I said, you okay? Did they take anything? And he's like, no, there's nothing in there anyway. And it's just like, fucking crackhead kids, great. And they probably need a hug or like a kick in the ass or whatever it is. And I did walk off up the street looking for him, but didn't see him again. And I didn't bother calling the cops because nothing had been taken. There was no harm done. So it's just like, yeah, go back to bed and try to rest. But then, like, now I don't feel comfortable parking in the front yard of a friend's house. So it's like, this is part of what happens, is you'll have a spot and people just fucking wreck it for you. Yeah, so another time I was parked up in a place I called Nature's Workshop because it was surrounded by paddocks and just a bit of a no man's land, and it had a concrete driveway that didn't lead into anywhere. It was just a driveway to nowhere, so I'd park on the concrete, and if I needed to do maintenance on the car, I'd go there and do an oil change and filter or whatever it is. Yeah, so I was parked up there last winter, I think. Either last one or the one before. I'm pretty sure it was the last one. Doesn't matter. Anyway, I was parked up there and there for a couple of weeks doing some like deep healing work, which I can talk about later. But anyway, I don't normally stay somewhere for that long, but because I felt comfortable and I hadn't been hassled, that's where I was. And then yeah, to the point where I was even leaving my doors unlocked and everything. I just felt like I could deeply relax there. And I'd met a couple of the landowners around nearby, and they'd basically, one of them said I had like 2 family members that were doing what you're doing, living in a car, and then they fucking checked out. So, and I'm like, well, it may not look good in your, view, but I'm doing well, and I'm not going to do that. So yeah, you don't need to be concerned about me. And then it's also like there's been people coming driving across the paddock and thieving shit from the property. So if you see anything, let us know. And then same deal with other landowners, like you're okay to be here, but if you see people fucking with stuff, let us know. So I sort of become default security without a paycheck, just to keep an eye on things. Like, yeah, that's great. And then, was parked up one night and got in the back, and I was trying to do work on my business on the computer just in the back, and I'd only just set everything up, and once I'm in the back and I've restacked everything, like, I'm not good to just jump in and drive away. And it takes a solid, anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour and a half to stack everything properly to be able to move again. So I just started work. I'd done about an hour of getting into it, and I had a lot to do, and then this fucking 4-wheel drive rocked up. Basically full of country bumpkin, drunken fucking hillbillies, and pulled in front ways and just had like high beams on my car. So I'm like, yeah, that's great. Like, go away, please. A few minutes went by, and then they drove off, and then 5 minutes later they came back and did the same fucking thing again. And then they drove off, and then 5 minutes later they came back and did the same thing again, except this time one of them jumped out with a beer in his hand, wobbling around towards my car, towards the driver's side. And as he's got up close to it, I've hit the key and locked all the doors and set off the indicators. And it gave him a bit of a startle, and he just turned and ran back into the 4-wheel drive, and they all took off. And then they came back 5 minutes later again and like reversed up and just held the foot flat, and were like shooting flames out the exhaust in my general direction, to which I was kind of laughing, just like, that's, yeah, cool trick, that's really funny, but at the same time, fuck you. And that was that. So 4 times in a row, just dealing with people that I don't understand why. Nothing better to do, right? So out of I'm blanking on the word for it, but out of just like stubbornness, I suppose, I stayed there that night, and I didn't fucking sleep, because I was just like, how long till they come back again? And like, I have to have fucking clothes on, I have to be prepared to jump out and fucking assert dominance or whatever the fuck it is. And I was just too tired and too over it. So I stayed there for another 2 nights after that. They never came back, but I stayed there just to, in my own way, I guess, say, fuck you, I'm not fucking moving. So it felt important for me to not leave immediately out of fear, or just being intimidated, by fucking retards. So yeah, fucking these things tend to be a blessing in disguise. A lot of the time you'll be forced to move from somewhere you've become a little bit comfortable, and then you might find something actually better than that place that you were, and then you end up, rather than holding a grudge against people for being fucking retards, you sort of thank them because it pushed you to move and expand and find new areas to chill and to park up and to have a little bit of the illusion of privacy for a temporary amount of time. So that probably gives you a basic idea. And like I said, once every 2 months this might happen, and I'd be moving sometimes every night into a new spot. Sometimes I'd stay somewhere for a few nights, and it was pretty rare that I'd stay anywhere for 2 weeks straight, and I might not do that again because, just when I was starting to feel safe and like I could leave my doors unlocked, turns out no, people just fucking appear and they're like, oh, this guy seems peaceful, let's fuck with him. Who knows what goes through their fucking thick, smooth brains, fucking skulls. It's none of my business at the end of the day. It's just I do what I can to stay out of people's way, and if people come and hassle me, then I just have to deal with it. So it is what it is. Last night I went to a spot which had previously been good, that I'd stayed a few nights before, like right at the edge of the forest. And like 8:30 at night, I'm in bed. I've had a big weekend. I'm getting ready to have a hard-earned rest, and this car pulls up. I'm just in like a car park in a little nature reserve with like the entrance to a walking track through the forest. Car pulls up. They don't come in the car park, but they just slow right down on the road, turn on a massive spotlight just straight onto my car. And then I have to look up, like, well, what is this? Is this random fucking crackheads? Is this, people casing my car trying to steal shit? Is this kids trying to destroy shit and smash windows? Is this cops? Is this undercover cops? It's like, I don't know, and like, I don't have clothes on, I'm in bed, and I've got to fucking deal with it, and it's just, all my adrenaline starts pumping, all my relaxation is gone, and then I'm just sort of sitting there waiting to see what they do, which is not ideal. Ideally, I'd get out immediately and just walk straight over to them and see what the fuck's going on and why they're being such an inconsiderate fuckwit. You know what I mean? So after a minute or two, they drove off, and I said thank you in my mind for being left in peace. But at the same time, now it's like, are they going to come back in 5 minutes? Because it's not like that hasn't happened before. Are they going to call the cops? Are they going to come back later and try to steal shit or break in? Like, I don't know. So, all I can do is calm down again and trust life, that like I am always safe at the end of the day, and just give thanks for being left in peace enough to, you just have to give up, and like, there's nothing I can do. I don't have the energy. I've just got to rest. So to just forget about it, basically, but take a mental note that once again, you've got just a wrecked spot that you felt safe for a temporary amount of time, but now you're never going to feel that way again in that same spot. So this has dragged on for a little bit of what is it, half an hour? So yeah, I guess the only people that are going to be still watching are probably either already in cars or thinking about living in a car or just wondering what it's like. So there's heaps of good bits and there's heaps of not so good bits. So it's basically the same as any other fucking thing, Is it like something that you could solve by living in a house? No, I don't think so. It's just removing the illusions of safety which people cling to out of fear, when in reality, it's like that quote, life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. So thanks for watching and listening to me clear my head out. It helps me to just fucking vent it so I can, get on with my day or evening or whatever, and be able to relax a bit more and to just clear out my head. I think it's very helpful for me. So, yeah, I'll probably call it a day for now. I do need to eat something still and to turn in for the night. I've got a big day again tomorrow, so yeah, I'll do more updates once again as I have time and energy to do so. Peace, many blessings to you.